The other prongs to our program, first and foremost, when I talk to parents, I say we are an African-centered program. And that's extremely important, and I specify to them that means we are teaching traditional African values as well as culture. And I specifically want parents to know that we teach African values, because for a lot of parents, they embrace European values and they don't appreciate someone trying to teach their children African values. And I try to be very honest with prospective parents, because I want them to know who we are, and if we are someone that they're not comfortable with, we definitely, would not want them to bring their child here. And in fact, we've had children who've had to leave, even though their parents knew part of our traditional African values. We think that homosexuality is not a part of our traditional values. So in our daily teaching, we critique European culture, and that's one of the critiques, as well as the individualism and other sexual perversions, interracialism. And in fact, I always point out Baruti's his book Homosexuality and the Feminization of African Males, which deals with the homosexuality as well as excuses, the politics of interracial coupling and European culture, to let people know. So if they have an issue with that, and sometimes you're talking to parents over the phone, so you may not know. So they may actually be in a family that's mixed, so the children probably wouldn't be comfortable here. But anyway, and for parents looking for programs, or you have people working with your children, it's very helpful knowing what people's values and what their politics are, because there's no such thing as people being objective and that they only teach subject matter. Your politics and your values get reflected in that, so that's very important. And of course, like with any educational program, we're very concerned with providing a good, strong academic foundation. So that's going to be emphasized here. Something we emphasize here that's definitely not emphasized, and in fact is frowned upon in public schools, is critical thinking skills, some analytical skills. And in public schools you're taught to memorize. If you have a good memory and you can regurgitate what you remember, you can be an A student practically. But here we want our students to be able to think, and in fact it's more important that they be able to think. When they're able to think, they have the ability, then you don't have to teach them every little thing that's right and wrong. When they have a clear understanding, they're able to critique things on their own. They can realize, okay, this is not in keeping with African traditions, values, regardless of who's telling them otherwise, even when it's somebody who's famous and whose work that maybe their work has something to offer, but they have to be able to separate. When you think critically, okay, this person, I can accept this book, but if this person is embracing things un-African, I can separate the work from this individual. So we don't do the hero worship that a lot of African people do, where we put people on the pedestal and whatever they do becomes acceptable. The other prong is personal development. Now, when we started this program, I think, and I know speaking for myself, we thought the focus would be being African-centered and providing good academic foundation and the critical thinking skills. We know we wanted to, okay, this will be in contrast to the public school. But I didn't realize how much personal and character development would be part of it. But from an African perspective, of course, that should be a natural part of it, because you're not just teaching academics, which goes on in traditional schools in this culture. You're preparing children for adulthood, and part of that preparation includes being of good character. So we, even though our students don't appreciate it, but we nicely point out issues that we see that the students have, because the sooner those issues are pointed out to them, the sooner they can improve, work on those issues. I wish someone had pointed out to me when I was a youngster that I have a discipline issue. I didn't know that, and doing so well in school, discipline issue, you know, I got it going on. But that was when I didn't have a husband, I didn't have a child, didn't have the community demands on my time. But so we work on that, and while we're working on that, that often involves discussion, but that will also involve academic assignments. So a student with anger issues, for example, may have to write an essay on the causes and effects of their anger, where they actually have to sit and analyze, and again, always bringing in those critical thinking skills, why it is this is a problem and how does this impact you, which gives them more reason to want to change that, versus I'm just angry, don't even know why I'm angry, haven't stopped to think about what are the causes, and definitely not potential effects. So those are the major things that we emphasize here.
I guess a point I want to quickly reiterate is this character issue. My study of traditional African education says that character is the center of all education taught traditionally among our people, the development of an individual's character. And we have, as we have done more of this, we have done more study in that, and that becomes more and more the center of our focus here. Because a person who's a straight A student or who knows everything but a bad character is the opposite of what our ancestors want us to raise. So we focus greatly on the character, and of course students aren't really, many of the students aren't really thrilled about that. Many because they're spoiled, many because they don't think that you have the right to instruct them on what their character should be like. Once they get to know you, that's what's always the amazing thing. Once they get to know you, and I firmly believe that children know when you love them. I firmly believe that. And it doesn't take people telling you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you every day. It's nice, you know, to say that, and it's nice to know that that's true, but a lot of people think that by saying that, that's, I guess, brainwashing or conditioning a child to believe that or making them believe it. No, they connect that to your action and what you say and how you do things for them, including those aspects of discipline that deny them things that they know or they know that you know aren't good for them. When a student knows that you love them, then they aren't going to question what you tell or ask them to do out of the blue. They're going to assume first and foremost that what you're instructing them in or telling them to do is for their good, because they know that if you love them, that you're not going to have them do something that would hurt them. So that's one of the things that we not consciously, I don't consciously go about the business. I tell students I'm not as nice on a lot of points as she is. Their issues, she will be somewhat kind about instructing them. I'm not going to be so gentle about that. And I tell students in a second the same way I told my daughter when she had gotten to a point where she thought that their world was starting to look a little better than our world. I said, I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to be your father. Now, if when you become grown, we happen to become friends, or during this time, I said, that's fine and dandy with me, but that's not an issue for me right now. I'm trying to raise an African girl to be a woman warrior.